What's up, guys? Welcome back to our hot hatch series, MDG. And today we've got all three hot hatches here. We've got the 3.8 GTI, the Mazda Speed 3 or Mazda 3 MPS, and the Ford Focus RS MK3. So we're going to talk a bit about each car and our experiences driving both cars, me and Johan. And then we'll come to a conclusion and we'll do a little vote on which one you think is the best. So what do you think about this American hot hatch?
So,
how's it?
We actually do love this American hot hatch. We've been around the bend, we throttled it, we kind of whacked it.
It's a proper hoonigan.
It's a proper hoonigan, right?
Yep.
So it's one of the rarest cars you see on the road. But you know, Greg, what is your take on this during our time taking over this car?
Well, okay, it's got what I call MPS power, but with four-wheel drive traction.
Wait, before that, why do you say MPS power?
Yeah, it's got the same block 2.3 litre EcoBoost, and that's the 2.3 litre MZR. So what happened was Ford, while they still own Mazda, they had the engine from Mazda and they took it to put it into the EcoBoost series, as far as I know. So, but when they split, Mazda went Skyactiv and Ford maintained the EcoBoost 2.3 litre direct injection engine. So yeah, that's an interesting history about the engine, alright? But like I said, MPS power, torque, but with the traction, so awesome with all-wheel drive.
Yeah, because it's all-wheel drive, you can just take any corner it wants.
Yeah.
But can you imagine, it needs that four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, because it's a 1.6 ton car.
Yep.
You see? And then, sure, this has more power in the whole lineup, but you know what? This, we'll say, in somewhat supersedes all, but there are advantages and disadvantages to this car.
Yep. So, the weight, this is the heaviest out of all three, 1.6 tons. MPS is 1.4 and the 3.8 GTI is 1.2. But this has the assistance of all-wheel drive. So like I said, it makes the character quite playful. In corners you can throttle it, you know, like whacking. I mean, you drove it.
Yeah, it's
really, you like
really
throttling it, right?
sick. Yeah.
It's fun, man.
It's really fun. Well, when you talk about body roll, this car just have this I would say active dampening system. Right? So when you're throttling and cornering at the same time, it really catches those corners really well. Unlike those other cars. So we want to go back on a recap on Mazda Speed 3 on Greg's car in comparison to the rest. Right, so we were talking about your handling.
Well, okay, I think what Mazda missed out is they should have put four-wheel drive for the Mazda Speed 3. I mean, they had a good recipe for the Mazda Speed 6. All-wheel drive, 2.3 litre turbo, high torque, but this was missing that. But it also made the car lively, but you have to drive it with a lot of respect, because having 447 Newton meters of torque on a front-wheel drive car is
a lot of torque steer.
There's a lot of torque steer, yeah. So torque steer is real, but it's not as bad as some people might make it seem. But you have to really respect the car and drive it carefully, you know.
Man, I gotta hold two hands.
You just two hands on this.
Keep giving me a disclaimer. Please put both hands on the wheel. And I really have to hold that car, you know, on the ground.
and it's tuned by Top Foundry, so yeah, lots of torque. Loads of torque here. So yeah, like I said, in a straight line, this thing is quite a blast to drive. But in the corners, you have a different style of driving it. Slow in, fast out. So you make full use of the torque at the exit, not at the entry. And yeah, so it's different compared to like the Focus RS, where this has the assistance of four-wheel drive. This one, bucking Bronco.
So you're saying that there's a lot of assistance between these three cars and in regards to yours, because you only have a DCS.
Correct, yes.
And then the rest has other up-to-date tech to control cars on the road. So, but did you do anything to the absorbers before that?
Yeah, I've got coilovers on it, so that helped improve the cornering ability much better than stock. So stock, I could go high speed and felt safe, but in the corners, it felt a bit wallowy. So with the coilovers, I feel better in the corners now, but I lose my high speed stability a bit. I can still go fast, but it's not as planted as it would seem on undulating roads. So yeah, for the MPS, it needs an upgrade in the coilovers and probably braking as well. But torque, it's got loads of it, no issues.
I think it's more than enough.
Yeah, more than enough.
I'm already scared.
447.
Times, you know?
If you watch the previous video, Joe was like,
yeah, I had to struggle.
Right.
But yeah, we're gonna go onto the Peugeot now.
Okay, so moving on to the next one, my favorite French Lion, the 3.8 GTI. So yeah, to me, I found the driving handling characteristics as very awesome. And Joe, what do you think?
I think it's true because one, like I mentioned about the other cars, this car is really light.
Yes.
And it has 270 horsepower on crank, and about 330 Newton meter of torque.
On 1.2 tons of weight, that's it.
And talk about that weight at a corner with such torque, you get good grip, you get good traction, you get good motion. So with that, despite all that power, this car really does handle very well on those types of bends.
And it's running on 19-inch. I think the width is similar to my MPS. It's got 235 width tires. So with this tire size and the combination of the big brake kits and the weight, it makes it very grippy and has loads of traction in corners. I was quite surprised when we drove it at Sabijaya. I was like, wow, it just went on rails.
It just went. It was effortless with five people in total in the car.
I can see why JT likes to toge this every weekend. And when he toges, he's on my ass very closely.
Really? He likes to toge his tire. Wow.
Yeah. Tires almost gone. And yeah, so interesting fact about the 3.8 GTI, it's actually a Peugeot tuned up by Peugeot Sport. Like Renault has Renault Sport, so Peugeot Sport is an arm like AMG, which tunes up the engine and the performance bits.
Is the performance branch?
Yes, and the engine is actually forged internal by Peugeot Sport, and I think it makes a peak boost of 2.5 bar boost at peak.
2.5 bar boost
from
1.6.
It's
nuts, 1.6.
These modern DI engines are nuts.
And it comes out with 270 Newton horsepower.
Yeah, and it's not even its final form. You can still tune this car. Right guys, so we're now going to talk about the maintenance, power, parts of each car. We'll start with mine first because it's the eldest. 216,500 kilometers on this chassis and engine alone. So for my car, I would say maintenance is quite easy, quite okay.
You're saying reasonable lah,
yeah. Because I mean, it's already 10 years old and it's done that mileage, but just normal wear and tear bits.
So generally you don't go to the service centers. This is all garages.
It's a mix. I could go to Mazda to get some OEM parts, or I could go to third-party resellers, third-party workshops. So it's quite okay. I have choices. So if I can't get parts from the service center, there's still the resellers outside. You know.
All right. Speaking of talking about services and maintenance, how much at average do you actually service your car?
Probably around 600 to 700 per service.
That's not bad for.
But I keep the interval a bit short. 7,000.
That's the same thing I do for mine. I never service at 5,000.
All right. We drive especially.
And then we want to talk about it's technically easy lah. You want to say?
Surprisingly, like it was a good surprise. Like when I got this car, I knew nothing about direct injection turbo. But when I finally owned it for a few years, I realized, hey, it's an easy car to maintain. It makes decent power and it's not so manja lah. Right. So my power right now is 278 on wheel. I just dynoed last Saturday, a health check with Nigel, and my torque is 447 Newton meters at only 1.2 bar of boost. So this is the lowest boost among the other two cars.
I just want to know, right? Like some people here, they just want to inquire.
Yep.
Despite all that service and owning the car, is it actually very easy to own 1 MPS?
I would say yes. I would say it's easy, yes.
So it's an easy turbo car to maintain.
Correct. And provided you are disciplined enough to follow your interval and you don't skimp on parts.
So you're saying that if future buyers would like to buy a used MPS, a good used one, they can actually contact and comment below and get in touch with Greg.
Yeah, I could hook you up with guys who are selling,
That's
a small group.
So you guys don't have to worry. Get 1 MPS, right? Okay, so this car is a 217 car and it's only a few units in Malaysia. I would just say 2. So you might have this idea, how do I get parts, how do I service? Well, let's talk about the basic service first. This car goes about near 1,000 ringgit if you want to service the engine oil alone, and then maybe you have a minor general maintenance, fluid and whatnot. So parts are not usually that difficult because the owner himself would probably order it through Ford or certain aftermarket parts. He probably order it online based on where he got it from, right? And relevantly, at this point, it's not very hard to get parts because nowadays everything is online.
And interesting enough, the owner said some of the parts are shared with the EcoBoost Mustang. So since there are a lot of Recon EcoBoost Mustangs here, so there might be more available parts that you can get for this RS.
Just not bad.
That's right.
And then can you imagine, Greg, the owner told me that before he brought it in from the UK, it's worth £11,000 worth of aftermarket parts.
Wow.
One of them, I believe, is Mountune.
Alright, so the Mountune bits you have here Mountain's a tuning arm for Ford performance cars, so Focus RS. You've got conrods. The internals are done, forged internals. Air intake system.
Forged pistons.
Forged pistons, yeah.
Oil cooler?
Oil coolers, yeah. He's got a bunch of aftermarket oil coolers. And I think the exhaust as well.
Yes, the exhaust.
Yeah. So all in all, that brings out the power to about 400 bhp crank and 500 plus Newton meters of torque. So this is a proper beast. It's a proper beast.
So you can't get this kind of parts here.
Yeah. 2-bar boost.
2-bar boost.
Yeah.
2-bar boost.
Yeah.
And then yes, I guess for what it's worth,
Yeah.
I guess it's worth the keep
But
to have such car
it's
like
not
this.
bad. Like you're paying only like 1,000 plus for service for that amount of power.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
For 400
it's not bad at
horsepower,
all.
how many cars, if you guys can comment,
Yeah.
right, with 400 horsepower and 500 Newton meter of torque, and you pay $1,000 bucks?
For service, yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's not bad. It's like going to BMW and
Value
anything
for money.
for 2 series.
Yeah, man. We can tap out them.
You can tap out them. Yes.
Yeah. So this is the youngest car here. It's a 2017 model, but brought into Malaysia in 2018 and sold in 2019 and bought by JT in 2020.
So this is 17 and that's 18, or sorry, this is 17 and
So
that is...
this actual production year is 17, but it was sold in Malaysia in 2018.
Right.
But it was only purchased in 2019 and only purchased by JT from the owner, the first owner, in 2020. So it's the youngest car here, very low mileage.
Really, yeah?
Yeah.
And despite the low mileage, I also wonder, this car has the warranty from Peugeot, and I wonder how much it costs to service.
Yeah, so like JT told us, it's still under warranty, so he still sends it to any official Peugeot dealership for service every 10,000 kilometers interval, and it's about 1,400 or 1,008 per service, so it's a bit on the steep side, but warranty still there.
So
still
how many more years for the warranty, by the way?
I think it's 3 years plus 2.
3 plus 2,
yeah,
so you
total
pay
5.
addition lah. You pay addition for
pay
that.
Additional, yeah.
For 1,600 for the next, let's say, 4 years.
So it was registered in 2019,
And
so it's only like about 2
So
years old.
that means you have 2,000 till, 3 more years.
Yeah,
3 more years.
3 more years, yeah.
So that you have to pay every 10,000,
Yeah.
1,600 ringgit,
Yeah,
and every
around
10,000 you have to change spark plugs. Apparently with Peugeot.
Yeah,
So that's in the
they're
set.
Following the French style of service interval, all the different bits and parts.
Yeah, of course you use good performance parts like iridium spark plugs.
But one thing I do like about this engine, as you can see, if you come here,
if you have to take a look over here,
they have a label there by Peugeot Sport. So as I
Yeah,
mentioned
see the
earlier on,
plate.
it's a car by Peugeot, but modified and tuned up and made into a performance model by Peugeot Sport. And in other Peugeot models with the same engine, you can't see the turbine this up close and up front. Wastegate, turbo, it's pretty neat, man.
but think about it, it's so compact.
It is,
It's
yes.
so compact compared to the rest of the car.
Yeah.
You still got room, right?
Yeah, this
that
is
one has a
compact.
cover. This one has no cover and it's just exposed.
Correct.
And I have an echo over here.
Yeah. Probably because like the intake's at the back and it's probably like recessed a bit, and the exhaust is in front. Like both our cars, we have exhaust at the back, turbo at the back, and intake in the front. So this is the old school style, more like the Evo style of exhaust in front,
I see.
intake at the back. Yeah.
It's like a very tight Evo. But yeah, so
Like Evo, yeah.
this car still has the warranty, and you
Yeah.
can still get the parts
Officially. Yeah.
for this car.
Yeah.
But too bad, it's only 12 units, so you won't see any more on the
Yeah,
road.
good luck finding a used one, Muda.
Good luck. But if you have one, it's a keeper, because a lot of Peugeots, French cars only falls into the hands of collectors,
Yep.
and modern day drivers.
Yeah. This is so underrated here, but overseas people appreciate the 3 GTI.
Yeah, I would see many of these cars in any parts of Europe, especially in the UK.
Yeah.
You know?
Like recently they had that MPS from Netherlands, 562 on wheel horsepower.
Oh, we saw that.
That crazy Autobahn MPS, you see. So like all these 3 cars are underappreciated in Malaysia, in my opinion. Yeah, but overseas, it's a very nice culture seeing all this built up 308s, MPS, and Focus RS.
I would say Malaysia is not, to say, a niche sports car market, because when they come out, they come out.
Yeah.
So I guess the seller themselves, they don't think it's more feasible for them to sell such cars, especially all these cars are manual, especially this one.
Yeah.
Right, it's going to be rare to see a manual hot hatch coming out from
Yes.
the brand new car, from the driveway, from the garage.
Exactly.
So I guess, Greg,
Yeah.
this is it.
This might be the last 3 hot hatches you'll see from each manufacturer, because as I know, there's no news of official Focus RS MK4 yet, and the Mazda CP3 has been killed off, and the 308 GTI, as what I read from an article online, Peugeot has no intention of putting back the GTI name, so it's going to be very rare. So these are the last of its kind. in my opinion.
I guess these automakers themselves think it's not
Yeah.
feasible to make any kind of sports cars lately.
No,
I mean,
they're moving to EV power, so it's
EV.
probably going to be like hybrid EVs, PHEV cars, performance. So no more pure petrol powered turbo cars in manual.
that's sad.
Yeah.
That's really sad because, you know, driver intuition with the car itself, you know, they create that bond.
Yeah, it's a
And
different
what-
feel. It's a special feel.
It's a special feel,
Yeah.
and I believe that that bond will never be, you know, experienced by the next generation.
Yeah. I mean, I think we in Malaysia are still quite lucky that we're not trying to phase out petrol powered cars by 2040, 2030. So we can still enjoy these sort of cars, and hopefully there'll be more people importing them in. You know, who knows?
I hope so too,
Yeah.
because this is one of those days where we can sit back on these kind of chairs and
Yeah.
enjoy the view,
Yep.
and one day we'll see the next generation having these
Yeah.
cars as a collector's item.
Yeah, for sure. Especially in Malaysia, low in numbers, very rare, but performance is absolutely fun. All three, French, Japanese.
I'm gonna miss it, Greg.
Yeah. Well, we have another like probably 5, 6, or even 10 years to enjoy these cars before things really change and automakers totally have no more petrol, turbo-powered sports performance cars. You know.
So I guess I'll see you in my EV car in 10 years, yeah?
All right, electric power. Here we go.
Yep. But I'll tell you a secret.
Yeah.
I'm still keeping mine.
Yeah. I think I'm still gonna keep my MPS. So that's it, guys. It's a wrap for the Hot Hatch series, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'm Greg. This is Joe. We are from the Mazda Drive Group channel. Do let us know which Hot Hatch is your favorite in the comments. And thank you to the owners, JT308, Nazrin, Focus RS, and
And if you guys have any other suggestions about in comparing to any other Mazdas or any
Yes.
other related cars within this
let us
class,
know. Yeah.
do comment below and we'll get back to you guys.
yeah, we'll try to make it
soon.
happen. Right?
Yeah, man.
Ciao.
Ciao. See you guys.